Now, you know, I spend way too much time talking about design tools and to the detriment of my wallet, also spending way too much money on them. But one of the critiques I get from some colleagues and questions from friends is like, Werner, these are cool, but I work in a big organization. I like to turn that but into an and say, listen, if you have a solid design system in place and then explore how you can meaningfully implement or combine some of these design tools into your design system, you can get some really interesting and meaningful outcomes within your collaboration activities. Hey, my name is Werner and I believe that most of the world's problems are just interesting design challenges in disguise. In this video, I want to pull the curtain back as much as I can in under 10 minutes on one of these design systems. A quick overview of the LUMA Design System by the LUMA Institute, and perhaps after this video you will understand why some big organizations decide to implement the LUMA system, but then also how you could go and then combine some of these tools with the LUMA system to get the scale that you require. Quick disclaimer though, I do have a professional relationship with the LUMA Institute, but they did not ask me to make this video. So before I dive into LUMA, let's talk about what I mean by a design system. Because it's not supposed to replace any frameworks in the organization, it's supposed to help people get collaborating faster. Now, if you think about any given organization, there's a whole bunch of people running around in innovation, product design, customer experience, agile, HR and marketing. And for the most part, and I hope, they all have their own frameworks in mind. Now, for example, in my world, when it comes to human-centered design, I usually hang my hat on the British Design Council's double diamond methodology or framework, right? But there's others, for example, D-School and IDEO. However, what this framework doesn't dictate, and I like about it, is that it doesn't dictate the activities or methods I use to deliver against this framework. Now, this is where the LUMA design system comes into play, because at its core, if you have to simplify it down, it puts on the table 36 design methods that any team can use throughout the organization. And when you use common methods, one of the big benefits is that everybody's talking the same or speaking the same design language within an organization, thus making it easier for people to collaborate across silos. Okay, so I mentioned that there's 36 methods within the LUMA design system. Of course, you can enhance these methods and add some of your own. In fact, I encourage that. However, there is these 36 methods and they aren't secret juju juice. You can go to the lumainstitute.com website and you can go and explore these methods right there on their website. Just as a quick overview, the 3 categories that you have in play for these 36 methods is as follows. The first category that you have is the look category, and within that there's a whole bunch of methods that focuses on research and then evaluating that research. The next category is understanding, my favorite. There's a whole bunch of methods there that help you understand, after you've done your research, the people, the patterns, and then ultimately defining some kind of statement around what is the actual problem that you want to solve within this project. The next category, very popular with a lot of people, is where your ideation comes in, so ideation methods, and then also methods around modeling and prototyping, and then methods that will help you define some kind of design rationale. So there you have the 3 categories: look, understand, make, that builds up the LUMA system. These can be quite abstract, and I thought maybe I'll give you a quick example of how I string some of these methods together. However, I can't deep dive all these methods. I'll leave that up to you. But hopefully this following example will give you a taste of what it is that you could do with the LUMA system. Now, what I do from time to time, and this has come up a few times in big projects, small projects, even little meetings, is that I'd like to understand or get people on the same page around a certain theme or topic, like what is important to everybody in the team and what can we focus on moving forward. To do this, I string 3 bespoke methods together. I usually start off with the rose, thorn, bud method, and you can see this in the understand category. And the rose, thorn, bud really encourages the team as individuals to explore within a specific topic what is good about this topic, what is bad or negative, and then where's some of the potential. Now that generates usually a lot of insights from individual team members. And then what I usually do from there is I use the affinity cluster method to help people develop some kind of common themes for specific things. And what happens is that they look at what they've generated within Rose, Thorn, and Bud, start combining them into certain clusters, and then theming these clusters. Now, in theory, what you have is a whole bunch of themes that are sitting there ready to be evaluated. And then I'll bring in my final method here as visualizing the vote. Yes, the simple dot vote. People go around and then prioritize and decide which of the themes are really important for them and then we take that theme and then take it into the next step of the project. This is a method or a string or a recipe, like LUMA likes to call it, that I've used a couple of times, and very easy to do, and hopefully gives you a bit of a taste of how you can string a subset of these methods together to get the job done. So this is the part of the video where I whip out the design tools, right? And in this case I have 3. And you've seen me use the card deck throughout the video. Very simple card deck, 36 cards, all the methods, a method on a card. They have 2 extra cards here, which just breaks down the categories that I discussed. So looking, understanding, and making, and then the methods underneath these categories. And then the card's simple. It's got a quick description and an illustration on the front around the method. You can see the actual category color-coded over here. And if you flip it around, you have a quick guide of how to actually apply this method. The book goes one step further. It has all the methods in it. But then if you look at an example, I'm going to go to the same method, rose, thorn, bud, a little bit more context, some benefits around the specific method, and then also a sample configuration or recipe that you can do by using rose, thorn, bud. Very, very simple. But as I mentioned, there's a third tool, and this is where the power of LUMA actually comes in. By all means, if you want to grab the book and the deck, you can go out, you can find it at the LUMA Institute or on Amazon.com. But the real power of the LUMA design system comes in when you use the actual LUMA Workplace. And I'm really excited to give you a quick taste of what the LUMA Workplace looks like. Okay, here you have the LUMA Workplace. And at very core, you get what you expect. You have 36 methods here. In fact, I'm going to quickly click through there. You can go and browse all 36 methods. There's the usual suspect, of course, under understanding. You have rose, thorn, bud. I'm going to click through on that. And then what you'll see is that there's tons more content here. Lots of things to help you going. You can even create a mural template from it. And then also all the recipes related to rose, thorn, bud. And talking about recipes, let's go into the recipe section. This is where I usually find myself. You can explore all the recipes or the collections. So one category that you can explore here is by job or industry, for example, business consulting. Here's all the different frameworks like Agile, and then also for solving everyday problems. So I'm just going to jump into the business consulting, and under business consulting, you'll see 19 recipes, and here they are indeed. You can explore them and see if there's any of these recipes that, if you look at the statements around what problems they're solving, if it relates to what you want to do. I'm going to click through on one here. So this is bringing stakeholders together to explore, assess future ideas. It's going to take you 2 hours. It's intermediate and maybe 6 to 8 people, and you can do it in person or remote. And now if you explore this, you'll see that all 4 methods related to this specific recipe is listed out. So for example, the first method here is the creative matrix. Takes you about 45 minutes. The agenda tells you exactly what you need to do step by step. You can explore some of the resources like I'm showing here, where some of their facilitators actually show you how to run some of these methods. You can generate a template from this recipe, pushes it into Mural or the platform that you're using, and you'll see a nice template here with some tips later. You're ready to rock and roll. Now back in the workplace, you can also of course take the base recipe and change it and then adapt the session to what you need to do. Now talking about planning sessions, you can actually create a session from scratch. I'm going to show that, so you can go in there, title your new session, give it a bit of a description, and then hit create the session. It gives you an empty slate. You click on the add button, and then you can go and explore all 36 methods. Build in some breaks if you want, or like I mentioned at the beginning of the session, you can also add in your own method. What I've done here is just added rose, thorn, bud once again, gives you all the steps, and then you can actually go in and build out a full session for yourself here right in the LUMA Workplace. And you can build out a whole library of your own recipes based on their recipes. So hopefully you get a little bit of an overview of what the LUMA tools and workplace looks like. I really wanted to show you the recipes because I think that's the interesting thing. And to my initial point, if you have a recipe like this, you can start counting on that recipe to bake or make the same thing all the time, right? That's a good thing. But sometimes you want to tweak it a little bit, and that's why you can swap out an ingredient or add 1 or 2 of your own ingredients or methods and then make that recipe your own. Now that being said, if you want to know more about the LUMA system, you can head over to lumainstitute.com, find out more about their training and how they activate organizations. You're also welcome to jump into the comments and ask me a few questions if you want to. I might be able to help you. But then also I would like to know from you, do you have a specific design system that you rely on? I would love to know more. And then, as always, catch you in the comments.